So let's stick for a moment with the concept of spatial technologies, but we're moving away from 360 videos and moving forward to satellite journalism in the scope of data-driven journalism. What I would like to do is to take you on a journey with me where I give some presentations or some examples of how information coming from satellites can look like. So let's start with the first slide. So here you see a picture of a city from above. And I'm wondering if someone can identify the city. Is there someone here? To give you a hint, it's a European capital. I would have been very impressed. This is Tallinn, the capital of Estonia. I would not have recognized it, but what is interesting about this picture is that Tallinn also happens to be the European Green Capital in 2023. And what you could do now, you could, for instance, use an algorithm that counts trees on this image to see whether Tallinn is indeed so green as maybe other capitals or not. So let's go to the next example. Here you see a picture, a satellite imagery of not a city but a landscape. These are two pictures, both taken from the same location but a different year. One is from 2019, the other one from 2020. And what you see here is a forest in Brazil, so Amazonas. And now the question is whether someone can spot some differences. So take a couple of seconds and train your eyes to check whether you see, when you compare the images, whether you can see changes. I guess it's quite obvious. I highlighted a couple of them, and these are the ones that I could find easily just looking at it, but this is just an example. If you want to do that on more imagery, of course, it's very challenging for a human eye, so this is where AI can come into play. You can use it to find change detections. Next example, this looks probably more like satellite imagery. What we see here is that there's smoke. So currently in Quebec, Canada, there are wildfires ongoing. What you're seeing here is that there's a lot of smoke coming from Canada and hitting the East Coast. And what I find interesting about this imagery is that you can really see, or you can really get an idea about the dimensions of these forest fires and its impacts on people living quite far away from this actual forest fire. So in preparation of this presentation today, I also checked how the news reported about these wildfires. And what I find interesting is that mostly news were focusing, at least the news that I consumed, on New York and not so much giving an idea about the dimensions of this actual fire. So satellite imagery could here be another additional source to get a more complete picture of the situation that we are having. Speaking about smoke, now I'm building a bridge to one of our research projects. In Callisto, that's also an EU-funded project, we are focusing on the air quality. So what we are trying to do is to use not only photographies from above, from satellites, but we are using additional information that satellites can give us. Satellites have the power to give us information about atmospheric gases, about particulate matter, about many substances that are in the air that we are all breathing. So what we are trying to do is we are considering satellite imagery as an additional source for journalistic research, and we are trying to find ways to make this data more accessible for non-satellite experts, and also to make it more understandable by working on an interface together with our technical partners that provides supportive information, whether a certain concentration of a pollutant is high or can be considered as low in the air that we are breathing. What we're doing on top is not only using the data to do research, but we also consider, satellite imagery, as I have shown also for the wildfire smog example, as a tool as visual storytelling component. So what we are trying to do here is to use this data coming from satellite imagery and to make it quite easy, to amend it quite easily and make it also look like it comes from, not looks like, but adjusted to the corporate design of Deutsche Welle, for instance. It's something that we are experimenting with now. Deutsche Welle has no satellite. Not yet. Right. And this was just a quick overview about how we consider that satellite imagery can be very useful for newsrooms where certain AI components or algorithms can be applied. And with that, we are coming to the end of our presentation. And Kai has the honor to say the last words.
Last words, yes.